Hello, welcome. I'm your host Elizibar. We're going to talk about Freaky Tales number 2. This review is a little bit tardy. I think I promised the publisher that I would do a review of this like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point. And, well, we're playing catch-up. We're playing catch-up right now. First off, pretty cool cover. These are the characters from the first story in the book. I think it's called like The Three Thorns. And they were like the main feature in issue 1. At least I felt they were the main feature. That story was pretty strong. Kind of like the one in the center, man. Like, look at that sword. She's wearing skulls on her shoulders. Crazy stuff. Scroll down here so you can see the people who worked on the book. And then we're just going to go right to the first page of the story. And I really like this because it kind of helps set the tone. So if you remember the last story, or the last issue, they were fighting like, the king was like, yo, we got demons, they're killing my people. And they're like, fine, we'll go fight them. And it led to, you know, like all sorts of cool action-y power stuff and demon getting his head cut off and oh, just great stuff. And here are the guards. You ready for this? I'm afraid we can't let you pass. Stop right there, please. I'm afraid we don't have time for diplomacy. But we still appreciate you asking nicely. And then just like flinging them. Yoink. Yoink. Just bye-bye. Is that a yoink or is that a yeet? That's going to bother me now. And of course she's getting ready to do something. What is that? Oh, let me guess. She blew a hole in the gate. Wow, you guards are loyal. Seriously, I just blew the gate up. With one hand. We will only stand down by word of our lord. You had your chance. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with her, man. Like, she's got, like, skulls on her shoulders, crazy-looking sword. Like, the other ones are scary. Like, she's just yoinking people through the air. She blew a giant hole in the gate. This one, though, she's probably just going to cut you in half if you're lucky. If you're not lucky, I don't want to know how many pieces she's going to cut you into. But it's going to be messy. So we get a really great summary of these 3 characters right here on the first page. If you had not read the previous issue, you just got an introduction to these characters. This is way more effective than you see in a lot of modern comic books. Like a lot of Marvel books or whatever, they will just be like, we'll put a little cutesy box here, or we'll have like a front page that's just text or something. This is telling us who these characters are through the use of their abilities, through their poses, through their word choices, their body language, like all that stuff. It's a very effective introduction to them. We're going to zip ahead to page 7 because this is like a bunch of exposition happens, and we learn why the city is under attack. It's because the king sold the people out to save his son, because his son was dying from the same disease that killed the king's wife in childbirth, and nobody could save the child. So he's like, yes, I'll pay the price. I don't know why he had that accent all of a sudden, but he did. I was desperate. I sold my people to a demon. I tried to buy him off, but failed. I tried to trick you into a war I started. Now I'm on my knees begging. And so from here we go into like a lot of stuff. There's a bunch of exposition. And I gotta admit, my eyes did kind of glaze over in some of the talking and stuff. And then they get to like a new fight that starts, and right at the very end, and I was like, yeah, I'm back. I'm back on board with this. Final analysis is pretty fun. I had a lot of fun reading it. Nothing bad to say right here. Like, thumbs up. Now, the thing about Freaky Tales is, it's an anthology book. And they're kind of hard to review. Let's go back up to, what was it, page 2? So we just looked at this story. This is the next one, Titanium Blade, and then Mountain in the Sky. So let me pull up Titanium Blade here. I want it to go to page 30. And you can see we're totally doing like a shonen manga type plot here. You know, you got like the spunky kid who's like rebelling against his dad, and his dad's like, you know, Shinji, get in the mech. And the kid's like, no, I don't want to get in the mech. I'm going to yell at you instead because I finally found it. No, I guess if it's Shinji, he would never find a spine. But like, you know what I mean. Like, you got like a hot-headed kid. You got a hot-tempered adult. They're yelling at each other. Stakes are high. Also, if I remember right, in the last issue, she was the one driving like the cool car. I kind of forget some of the backstory of this. I think like aliens invaded the Earth and took it over. So it's kind of like, you know, the Invid Saga from Robotech, except not. The mecha are kind of cool. And I wrote down that I wanted to look at page 32, so I sure hope that mecha are on this. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. And there's this white-haired girl, and these guys are like the Resistance or something, and the mecha are piloted by the aliens, and da-da-da-da-da. So this guy's here to, and put air quotes around this, interrogate the girl. That's not what he was about to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I can say the word for what he was about to do on YouTube, but he was about to do something a little bit very highly unseemly that you should never do with somebody against their will. So anyway, aliens attack, stuff's happening, boom. I'm not sold on the motion blur on the boom, actually. That's kind of bothering me. It makes the page feel like it was printed out of focus, even though you can clearly see it's in focus up here and down here. I think just putting that in like normal would have been just as effective. And then you could have drawn like speed lines across it or something. That would have been pretty cool. Like break the letters up. I think I saw that done in another book recently, and it was a really good effect. But the blur I don't think works too well on this Kaboom. But anyway, let's look at the mecha. Like, I'm totally sold on these mecha, man. Mecha Man. Oh, that. I wonder if that's already taken for like a hero. You got Mech Man, right? But Mecha Man? Anyway, they're cool robots. Right after this, there's like explosions and shooting and action. And these rebels had like an experimental mecha. And somebody gets in it. And, you know, like, it's party time at that point. We're definitely living up to feeling like a mecha manga or anime or something here. We're hitting similar plot beats to that. This story did not have a moment that was as really awesome. I remember, the one thing I do remember from the story from issue 1, or this story, yeah, I guess this story, this section of the book from issue 1 was that there was this really cool like driving sequence or something, and I remember that like being really awesome. There's some cool fighting stuff in here. I don't think it quite reaches the level of awesome I had. I did crack open issue 1. It was like 40-something pages long. This one's 66 because there's a third story. Bro, you can't just keep making your anthology bigger. Eventually, we're going to run out of stuff. So the third story was like Mountain in the Sky. Not to be confused with Lapita, you know, the castle in the sky. Great movie if you've never watched it. Absolutely fantastic. So we start off with this dude with a biplane taking off, good luck, as this, you know, at first I thought maybe it was supposed to be lava, but as the story went on, I realized, oh no, that's not lava, that's like mutagenic death blood or something, man. How do I know it's mutagenic death blood? Because we see this rain, and then we go to like over here, and we get this big monster. Dude, looks awesome. So let me go back. That was probably too quick for you. Look at the deer. See? Alright, maybe that's an elk. I don't know the difference. Then we go to 53. Oh, look. It's the same dude, just as a horrifying mutated death monster. Now, this story takes place in a couple different places, and there's a lot going on here. And I gotta admit, I totally have to admit, I don't really think I cared about a lot of the discussion and stuff. There was some cool things I saw, but plot-wise, I'm not sure that when they were talking, I cared that much. Like, we meet this young lady with, like, ice powers who's going to go put out the fires or whatever. We meet these cool warrior ladies here. There's, like, the 4 elementals get together to discuss the situation. They call this, like, what's going on, like, the result of, quote, the red. So it's like a whole lot of concepts being thrown at us in really quick succession. Which, it is a first issue, right? And we're jumping, like, right into giant death deer rolling around. But I think the monsters are definitely kind of like the thing that kind of takes the cake here. Because there's a scene with that dude in the airplane. He, like, goes back to his city and passes out or something. And we see somebody else in that city, like, looks in the building, and they're like people that have been affected like this. You know, they become like fleshy zombie duty people thingies, and that was actually a pretty good little how do I want to put it? Little pop. It made me go, "Oh!" when I saw it. So that was pretty cool. All in all, 66 pages. I really definitely enjoyed the Three Thorns story. That was super solid. The second story, oh man, let me look at the name. Titanium something? Titanium Blade. I think in the first issue I was like, the Three Thorns is awesome, but in this one I think the Titanium Blade like eked it out just a little bit higher. The mecha designs, like seeing that stuff in action, was pretty cool. I didn't show you the pages where there's like some giant robot madness going on. I just kind of showed you that little panel where the robots were introduced, but they get up to some cool looking stuff in there. And I think that once that story got moving, it got really good. Mountain in the Sky suffers from the problem of we're showing you all this stuff about the world that this is taking place in, which you kind of have to do because it's not like a standard fantasy setting. You know, it's not like, oh yes, this is medieval Europe, the story, or something. It's a different kind of world with different rules, and you have to introduce people to that stuff. And if you're jumping right into blood is raining from the sky and making monsters or whatever's going on, you kind of have to roll pretty quick and just be like, yo, here's some people, here's some stuff that's going on, and we're going to throw high concepts at you left and right. And then after you've done that introduction, if there's a part 2 to this story, which there has to be from how it ended, that's the moment in time when you can kind of dial it back. That's the moment in time where you can be like, okay, we just threw a bunch of stuff at you to tell you all about these people and their world. It's time now to give you a nice solid story with these people. Start linking up the plot threads, because there was like the magic girl who I didn't show you, who wields like ice magic. There's like the guard people. There's the city where that dude ended up at. So all that stuff has to come together somehow. And I think once those plot threads start getting pulled together into a single unified story, it'll be a much better read than this first story was. It was still okay. I'm not saying it was bad. So let me make that clear. Like, I've read a lot of fiction. The world there seems kind of interesting. And what's going on seems kind of interesting. I made that reference to, you know, a Studio Ghibli film for a reason here. We got a floating mountain and all that, right? And I'm hoping that this story evokes some of that sense of wonder as it goes on, because a floating mountain is a pretty cool thing to have in a story. And if this just kind of keeps going and plays around with that concept, and they like launch an expedition there to fight the whatever, I think there's the opportunity for some really fun adventures to happen. Alright, this video has gone on like as long as 3 other comic book reviews, probably because I've reviewed 3 comic books in one thing. You all take care of yourselves. You have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And sure hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.